What? A blown up Hemi? No way. You ever try really hard to be careful and not make a huge mess all over your new shop floor and then it explodes in your face? Did you know antifreeze doesn't taste very good? Apparently the Hemi Durango has more than a few extra parts. I do not like anything about any of this. Well, except the part at the end when I get paid. Pulling the radiator sucks! But now we're getting places. Yeah, places. Here's a pro level tip for you. If your AC's charged, you don't want to drain it, especially because here in the state of Washington now, you can't even recharge it at home. Just leave it all together and flop it out of the way. Of course, this is on a Durango. On a Ram truck, leave it all together, pull the compressor, pull the condenser, and drop them through the bottom. Power steering actually tucks neatly over there. Still hooked up, not leaking. Very nice. Oh, and I pulled the idlers and tensioner. And made more of a mess. Now all I have to do is pull the intake. And then get under the truck and pull the mounts. The extra support bracket, flex plate guard, unbolt the flex plate, pull the starter, undo the bell housing, and then whatever else I'm forgetting. Then I have to transfer all of the Durango parts over to that Jeep engine over there. I also have to hope that the intake will fit because this one's full of debris. No, it won't fit. If this happens to you, your Hemi blows up, valve seats fall out of it into the engine, here's what you really need to watch out for when you're putting a new one in. You hear that noise? No, that's not the bolts moving around. That's pieces of valve seat. They're stuck in the intake. They're very difficult to get out. More on that later. Oh, hey, make sure you don't pour gas on your nice clean shorts you poured antifreeze all over the day before. Definitely don't do it twice. Anywho, apparently on this Durango style intake, which I think might be shared with some of the trucks, it's definitely different than the Jeep one, which is also used on cars. You can actually get some of these chunks out. Look at this. Yeah. That's what happens to your Hemi. Now, after a bit more fiddle farting, I think I actually got all of it, and it doesn't make the noise anymore. However, we're not going to bank on that. We're certainly not going to bank another $3,000 used engine on it. Instead, we're going to install an insurance policy. They make an intake gasket for these that has screens in all of those ports to catch any bits like that are left in there in case they get disturbed. On a remanufactured engine, they come supplied with it, and you're required to use them or your warranty's null and void. So, we're going to do that. Awesome. Yeah, except I won't have those gaskets for 5 days and they cost $107. Moving on. Getting dangerously close to taking this thing out. Also, my back hurts. I don't know what I did. Great. And ready to do the thing. And it only took all day and ruined my back. I did this as a favor to my friend Rob and his family. They just paid to have it done once, and then the used engine exploded in 2 months. I'm thinking after this one, I'll just say no. No more Hemis. Unless we're talking, 392s and we're talking swaps, in which case, yeah, all right. Garbage. Pure garbage. Well, at least it fits in and out better than an all-wheel drive Chrysler 300. And that's the only nice thing I have to say about it. All right, now it's just a matter of making that one look like that one. But that is tomorrow Jamie's problem, among others. Dudes. It's called precision parking. Today is tomorrow, and it's time to start stripping these things. Also, surprise, surprise, it piddled on the carpet. Well, I think I've finally removed enough things to start reinstalling things. Oh, so many things. There's a whole pile of extra things, just in case you need some things, It's entirely possible I skipped a few steps with the the video. But look, it's in the thing. Almost like we know what we're doing. All right, where were we? I don't know. Anyway, the Hemi's in the Durango, so let's put it all together. Hemi intakes. They're full of fun after your valve seats fall out. Tried to get a gasket with a screen in it. Let's just say that didn't work out. So I sprayed this one out. I mean, I already got most of the stuff, but I think I've got all of it now. Not much else I can do here. Because this is the truck style, it opens up into that, and I'm pretty confident I've got all of it out of there. The car style, good luck. Getting places. I just have to do all the stuff around the engine. Time for the hardest part of this yet. Putting the torque converter bolts back in. Great. Hey, look at this. It looks exactly the same. But hey, all, and I mean all, of the underneath stuff is done. Oh hey, quick note. If you blow up the Hemi in your truck and they send you a car engine, it's gonna have this angled oil filter adapter on it. You need to use that because the stud thing will not come out of the old truck engine and go into this one. They don't do that. You can get one online or whatever, but there seems to be room for this, at least in the Durango. Might have to stick with that short filter. Anyway, just leave it like that. Oh, also the oil temp sensor, where is it pressure? I don't know. Usually it sits there. It's on the back of that angled adapter, and I had to kind of stretch the wires, but I think it's fine. Let's say it's fine. Well, I made a huge mess of the floor, but I think the intake is clean enough to install. I actually had to change the foam under the intake because it's taller on a car motor. Neat. That's fixed, but I also have to change the temperature sensor right here because it's totally different. This will get done eventually, I'm sure. Nice. If you're watching this channel, you might already know this, but one of the problems with driving 7 cars is never knowing where you left things. You know, I hated just about every minute of this, but now that I'm nearing the end, suddenly putting a Hemi in something sounds like a good idea again. I got plenty of parts. I got 7/8 of an engine, twice over, actually. And I've got a 4.6RE, which is what all the aftermarket setups use behind them. More on that later. Look at all that! Accessories, belt, hoses, done! Now we need a radiator and this crossbar thingy, and a battery box, and oil, and coolant. Wow! Well, it's together enough to try and start. I figure one of 3 things is going to happen. It's going to start and run perfect. It's going to start and rattle like the old one did. Or it's not going to start at all. Let's find out. Saying a prayer. Like that noise. Oh. Okay. Let's see if it magically fixes itself and the misfire goes away. You hear the weak cylinder when it's cranking, right? And the popping through the intake, and the ticking, and it's shaking. Well, I think we all learned a valuable lesson today. The lesson is, friends don't let friends buy Hemis. And you could probably forget everything I said about swapping one into something else, because why? Just why? I hate you! Anyway, I have to go disappoint a customer now. Thanks for watching. And remember, at the end of the day is going to end. Oh yeah, should the oil filter I had to reuse have a hole in it? asking for a friend. Yep. Time for a frosty cold adult beverage. I'd like to go back to my happy place now.